Howdy, y'all. It's the Boneheaded Chef coming at you. Tonight's recipe, chicken pot. Yeesh. Tonight we're making homemade chicken pot pie. And I'm basically following the recipe to Mr. Make It Happen, who is on YouTube, and you will find the link to his recipe in the description. Okay, I've got my Dutch oven here, and as you can see by almost getting hit in the face, I got it loaded with heat, and we are going to drop in 6 tablespoons of butter. You got that right, 6 tablespoons. All right, we're gonna let that melt, and we're gonna put some deliciousness in there, some vegetables. So I'm just gonna let that melt for a few seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we got a bunch of nice butter melting right there at 6 tablespoons. And then in yonder bowl, I've got, it's layered. It's a cuppa. 1 cup of bella mushrooms chopped, 1 cup of celery chopped, 1 cup of carrots chopped. So we have a cuppa. So here we go. Instead of putting them all in individual bowls, put it all in one. Oh, and onion. There's a cup of onions. So again, I got a cup of carrots, cup of celery, cup of onion, cup of bella mushroom, all going into the pot with all that lovely delicious butter. Okay, so we got the raw vegetables right there. Oh yeah. Gonna let that simmer down. Guess I need me a bigger Dutch oven. Mr. Make It Happen, his is a bit bigger around, but that's all right. It'll just take a little bit longer to sweat out my vegetables. Okay, so we got that going. Now, mind you, I watched Mr. Make It Happen's video over and over while I was slicing, cutting, and prepping. So let's just pray to the Lord above that I get it right. But I am the Boneheaded Chef, so I gotta get at least one thing wrong, right? Correct. All right, so he calls for garlic paste. I'm using minced garlic instead. And he uses some Italian seasoning in the paste, which I don't have, and our local grocery store doesn't even know what that is. Things like that, but for the most part, I'm using his recipe. And instead of using the store-bought soup broth that I have in the cupboard, guess what, y'all? This is biggin', or it could be with the rutabaga twins, I'm not sure. But my roosters, so I've got all this lovely soup broth that was canned up when I canned them chickens, and I added some of my homemade herbs in there. So the broth looks weird, looks like green things floating in there, but it's got my homegrown parsley and cilantro in it, and might even have some thyme in there. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Okay. Ooh, there's something that was not called for in the recipe, but I like to add it, especially when I'm using chicken. It's just a little bit of cumin. You can put it in chili, you can put all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to take half teaspoon to a teaspoon, just throw it right in there with the vegetables. You could put more in there than that, but yeah, I didn't. Okay. Simmer down. Ooh, that looks good. Look at it, y'all. Ooh, I wish I had smellophone. That is looking good. smelling good. That beeper tells me that the oven is up to temperature. So when I get the all put into a pie, we'll be good to go. Okay. So now to add to our vegetable mix, I'm going to put in this one first. This is a mixture of salt, pepper, and I didn't have better than bouillon, chicken bouillon. I do have the beef, but I didn't have the chicken, but I used the powdered bouillon instead of the cubes. The cubes are just nothing but cubes of salt. At least with the powder, you got a better chance of having something tasty. But yeah, one of these days I'll pick up the chicken flavored better than bouillon. The beef flavor is excelente. You just store it in your cupboard until you crack it open. And after you crack it open once, you have to put it in the fridge. Lasts for months. Okay. And then right here, I have a couple teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. And Mr. Make It Happen cannot say Worcestershire, so I'm saying it for him. There you go, buddy. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I used to call it Worcestershire. All right. And then we've got right here some Creole seasoning. I have to look at it to remember what it is. And then a few hot pepper flakes, red pepper flakes. Not a lot, just a few for seasoning. And both is optional. Oh, and there's also like a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Might be closer to 2 teaspoons. So there was some smoked paprika, some Creole seasoning, and about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And you could add or take away from that whatever you want. So, right, the juices are going. Okay. Well, that's empty. I'm trying to remember what order to do stuff. I've got garlic, but you want to put that in later because onions have a lot of water in them and it cooks out, takes longer. Garlic does not. It's very low water content. Timer, I don't know. But anyway, the water content in garlic is low and it called for garlic paste, but I am using my minced garlic that you refrigerate. I also have the dried minced garlic that I got from the Amish store, but today I'm using the more moist one, I guess you want to call it. Whatever. Okay, so we'll put that in there. Yeah, when we get into the chicken, that's coming. You got to do the vegetables first. Okay. Got these nice vegetables. And then, yes, I know, I didn't forget frozen peas, but they go in after the roux because obviously they're frozen and they'll cook up faster. Okay. So now I'm going to put in the flour and make a roux. So I got like, what was that? Third a cup of a flour, third a cup, 1/3 cup of flour. I'm going to stir that in there to make the roux. So I'm going to turn the heat down just a skosh. I don't want to scald it all. All right. And the roux kind of makes a mush. The flour kind of makes it kind of mushy. Don't want to freak you out, because that's just part of the deliciousness. Okay. So, got the flour in there. And then I'm going to add 1/2 cup. This is 1/2 cup of whole milk. The recipe calls for heavy cream. But I just was at the local grocery store today, and I'm not going to I'm not going to pay $5 for a little deal of heavy cream, and I'm not going to pay $8 for the tall one. When I can go to north of here and go to Chain and get the big tall one for like $4 or $5. So, long story short, I'm using milk instead. And we got a nice creaminess going. See? That looks good. Alright, now I gotta remember what goes next. I'm gonna add more milk to it. Uno momento. Okay, it's making me nervous. Just looked a little dry. So, a little bit more milk. And, you know, heavy cream is thicker, so I'm allowing myself a little bit of leeway. All right, so we got a nice gravy deal going. So then, what goes next? I'm going to say that the peas go next, because you want them to cook a little bit before you put them into the pot pie. So give that a little stir. Just keep their heat turned down. Okay. And now I'm going to add, it calls for 3 cups of chicken broth, and I got my homemade chicken broth. Like I said, it looks kind of weird, but I got all my seasonings in there. So here it goes. All 3 cups. Get that lovely parsley and cilantro and everything into the deliciousness. The thyme is in there. Wonderful, wonderful herbs. They're just so delicious. Alright. Now I got the juice back in there, so I'm going to turn the heat back up to medium where it was. So let me show you what we got going. Sorry, had to move that knife. Okay. I know my kitchen's a mess and my stove's a mess. Deal with it. Okay. Pretty good. Get back here. Don't run off on me. Ah! Doggone it. Alright. And while I almost forgot to take the pie crust out, Mr. Make It Happen and a bunch of the other YouTubers, they use store-bought pie crust for this, and I did have a couple boxes of it, so I'm thawing out my pie crust. It's getting there. While that's cooking a little bit, let's open this up. Is it thawing out pretty good? Usually dough doesn't take too long to thaw. Alright, yeah, it feels like it's doing really well so far. And seeing as how it takes me so long to get things ready, it should be thawed out in plenty of time. Put them off to the side. Okay, you're probably wondering, hey, Boneheaded Chef, didn't you forget something? No, I did not. I did not forget the chicken. Mr. Make It Happen, he called for, yeah, I made a mess. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, he called for like 1 rotisserie chicken or something like that. But, because you could get a rotisserie chicken for like, I don't know, $5 or $6 at Wally World. But, we had a couple roosters in yonder freezer, so I just thawed out some of my chicken meat. So here we have it. I poured it out once and all the juice came out. Let's pour it out over the Dutch oven this time. Get the extra juice out. Seeing as how it was in the fridge, I'd put it in the microwave and loosen up the grease. Alright. I just want to make sure that it's all, like, not big old honking huge chunks. Because you want them to be bite-sized. When I canned them, I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing. Okay. Alright, what do we got? Alright, I'm just going to shred it into there. It's a mixture of light and dark meat. It's really weird because a homemade rooster has really dark meat. Yeah, we feed them lots of protein. Lots and lots of protein. Alright, that's gonna get that up to, oh, I know. Oh, I did put it in. I thought I forgot the flour, but I did. I put it in. Sheesh. See, even when I think I am being a bonehead, I'm not. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Boy, I hope this pot pie turns out, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be so disappointed. I love a good homemade pot pie. The closest I've ever had to one is the chicken pot pie at Bob Evans' restaurant. It's pretty good. But it's been several years since I've been to a Bob Evans. Okay. Let's see if I'm going to need the other jar. I probably will. Yeah. I'm going to put my little pint jar in there too. Call it good. Oh yeah, loveliness. Good thing I washed my dishes yesterday because I got a load of it to do now. Okay. We're just going to let that simmer down, simmer down. Shall I show you what it's looking like? Oh, that's good. It's going to be good. You can also make something called chicken pot pie soup. And that was another YouTuber that did that. And I imagine it's just like stir it all up like this, let it cook, and you say, soup's on. So, yeah. I ain't going to do that, though. We're going to have chicken pot pie. Chicken pot, chicken pot, chicken pot pie. Probably could stand to put more peas in there. I do have more. It called for a cup of peas, a cup of everything, you know, each vegetable. But I think I'm going to go get my peas and put some more in there. Alright, see, until the recipe called for 1 cup, and this was just a small bag of peas from the local grocery store. And it looks like maybe 1 more cup in there, so guess what? I'm dumping it in. Pass the peas, peas. Oh yeah, that's going to make it better. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then we're going to salt and pepper 1 more time. So I got my sea salt, chili. Some of that in there, in yonder pot. Got some coarse ground black pepper, a little bit. I want to get some white pepper. I think that would be good. Okay. Oh, made a big difference adding the rest of the peas in there. I highly recommend it. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, so just gonna get thickening as it's sitting here, which I knew it would. It's thickening up. Man, I think I got enough here for 2 pot pies. But yeah, just gonna let that thicken up a little bit more, let them peas cook, and then when we come back, we will put it in the pie crust, because you want to let it cool down for 15-20 minutes, because if you put hot ingredients into your pie crust, the crust is going to crack. So I'll see you back in about 30 minutes. Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all. Over here, I've got my pie crust. I unrolled it and I just flattened it enough where it wasn't curled up. And I should have grabbed both boxes of pie crust out and used 1 box for the top and 1 for the bottom, because they never make these big enough. So yeah, it would have been nice to have a nice big one, but that's alright. We'll do with what we have here. Yeah, you're probably wondering, hey, Bonehead, why didn't you put any flour down? Because I'm a bonehead. Boop. Alright. This pie pan is just big enough. Just big enough. You don't even have to cut off any excess dough. Get in there so it meets up against the edge of the pan along the sides there. Don't want to stretch it out and tear it. So, here we go. Okay. I'm going to set that aside for a second. Get my other crust. When you guys weren't looking, I was off camera. I did put another bit of flour in here, probably another 1/3 of a cup, just because I just thought the gravy needed to be a little bit thicker. And I stirred it really well, seeing as how the liquid was already hot. You don't want your flour to lump up and be grody. So I stirred it really well. Yeah. It's been sitting there on the counter cooling off. It's not on a burner. So we shall see. Oh, I better get a little bit of flour. This feels moist. A little bit of flour. Just gonna sprinkle it on my turntable here. Doesn't have to be much. Wish I had a curtain in that window. It's messing with my lighting. So as you can see, that's what I got right there. Ah. My phone doesn't want to sit still. I really got to look into getting better equipment. Oh, this one's getting very moist. Not as easy as what it looks, y'all. Once you get it unstuck, then it goes a little better. But the very edges, make sure you get them peeled back before you start unwinding it here. Gotta be real careful because, yeah, they roll this out pretty thin. Ooh, sticking right there, you little stinker. Next time, I'll make my own pie crust. Is it coming? Yep. Okay. All right. Don't need a lot of flour, just a teeny tiny. Okay, let's roll this puppy out, get it nice and flat. You don't have to press hard because we're just going to make it flat because it already has its shape. Oopsie. Okay. Then, oh, come on, paring knife, paring knife. My drawers are falling apart, literally. Oh, my lanta. Sorry about that. Doggone. Stay still. All right. Just put some cuts in the crust so it doesn't boil over. Going with the new design I've never used before. I usually either make a heart, cut it out, or else I make like wheat shape, like wheat marks. My grandma and my mama always did the wheat marks. My trademark is the heart. But today I'm doing the Mr. Make It Happen way. A star. Okay. Ready? Let's get this up. Whew. Pie pan back over here. Okay, just gonna leave the dough right there. Fix that little tear in the bottom. Okay, now we're gonna start scooping the deliciousness. I think I better get like something else to scoop it with. All right. One scoop. Two scoop. Get more level so I can see how much I got in there. Put a little bit more. Yeah, I got enough here for like 2 more pies. Alright, we're just gonna get some nice chunks, scoops of meat and vegetables. Got plenty of gravy. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Okay. All right. Did I do it good? All right. All right. Then, I know it's hard to see. Sorry about the bad lighting. I'm just gonna tuck in my crust and pinch, tuck and pinch. Okay, there's the bottom crust. Here's the top crust. Flip the top over, tuck it, and pinch it. All right, this is Mr. Make It Happen's little special touch. Now, he had more crust to work with. He must have bought bigger pie crusts. Mine are just generic ones that I got from Daily Deals. Just gonna tuck that in. Pinch it a little bit. Pray to God that it turns out right. Help my Lord, help me make it work here. Need a little help from above. Right? Not real gorgeous, but it works. And then, pièce de résistance, or however you want to say that fancy word, I've got some melted butter. I got my little pastry brush. I already melted it in the microwave. You can use an egg wash if you want, but I'm using butter today. And I'm just going to go over the top of my chicken pot pie. That'll give it a golden look to it when it comes out of yonder oven. Give it that nice buttery crust. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay. And then, where'd it go? It's salted butter, but I'm just going to put a couple sprinkles of sea salt. Like that. Just going to make sure that's not my daughter on the phone. Be right back. Okay, so that was my mom on the phone. She said fire trucks are going by your house again. When I was there earlier, they went by. The first ambulance went by, and then the fire trucks, and then my dad said, oh, East Clock Road. Well, that's just right down here from my house, so went out there and found out there was a fire, but they got it contained and nobody lost their home. And she said now the fire trucks are back out again, so either they're going to a new fire or that one started back up. But there you go. That's what it looks like. And I got it the oven set at 425, and I'm going to put it in for 30 minutes, and then I will start a new video and do a taste test. So thanks for coming along. Bye-bye.